Hello and welcome back to another Pokemon Explained video. Today we'll be discussing and reviewing the latest episode of the Pokemon Journeys anime, episode 40.
What did you think of the episode?
Oh, I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah, it was really good. Started off as a hot day.
Yeah,
they were having shaved ice.
But then all the electricity stops working.
Yep. They see that there's a thundercloud over the sea coming towards the port.
Yep.
And there's blackouts all throughout the city. They go towards the thundercloud to try and encounter Zapdos.
But then the thundercloud dissipates and it turns out there's nothing inside.
Yep. So they're both very disappointed.
And they start walking back and they bump into Koharu at the bus stop. And they talk to her about the power outage and whatnot. And she mentions about how none of the power went out at her house, meaning that the power outage was only really in that area. They heard that the thunderclouds were coming back to that same area at the port, but Go went with his gut feeling instead of the data, and
so they went to the unmanned power plant. Koharu mentioned that Go's coming more and more like Ash.
Yeah, instead of going with the data, going with his gut feeling. And they bump into Team Rocket there.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, I would love it if Zapdos wasn't even in this episode. It was just Team Rocket that was messing with the power. Like a fake out, you know?
Yeah. But they were just there trying to make a new hideout.
Yeah, they wanted to use the power plant as the second secret base.
Which I thought was a good way to have them there.
Yeah.
Then they mentioned that Zapdos is there. They see it. And
Team Rocket wants in.
Yep, so they're all like trying to battle the Zapdos. They get the Team Rocket gacha machines. They get a Rhydon and
a Stunfisk.
A Stunfisk, yeah.
Jesse gets the Rhydon to use Horn Drill, and it's just completely missing. I don't know if that was like a nod to the insanely low accuracy of Horn Drill, or if it's just because Rhydon couldn't reach Zapdos because it was higher up, but I like that nonetheless.
The Stunfisk couldn't reach the Zapdos with his
water gun.
Yep.
And the Zapdos, it was just frying Ash's Pikachu and Go's Raboot. They didn't really stand much of a chance. But then it thunders on the Rhydon and the Stunfisk, and they take no damage because of the ground types.
I liked the look on Zapdos' face when they all started battling it. It looked like it was ready for a challenge, which I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. Then after all that happened, they decided to team up.
Yeah, they set aside their differences, and
which
they had some pretty cool plans there. Like, James came up with the idea for Pikachu to ride on Stunfisk.
Yep. And then Rhydon went in front of Raboot to stop it from getting hit with the electric attack.
Yep.
And then
they all use, like, Rock Blast and different moves to, like, hit it. All of them miss. Raboot jumps up and tries to do a double kick, but it avoids it.
And then the Zapdos breaks through the ceiling.
Yep.
So Go rushes into the elevator to get to the roof. And then Team Rocket turn on Ash and say they were the Pikachu.
Temporary alliance was over.
So Go went up by himself.
And it makes sense, right? Team Rocket, they had two ground types. Pikachu couldn't do anything to those two ground types.
But wouldn't you rather get a Zapdos than a shitty Pikachu?
They were unlikely to get the Zapdos to begin with.
Yeah, but they're unlikely to get the Pikachu because it's literally never happened. It's never going to happen.
They got close one time in Sun and Moon. They managed to wipe out all of Ash's Pokemon.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were pretty close a few episodes ago as well when they had the claw machine truck.
Oh, yeah.
And they just didn't drive away.
Yeah. They were too busy figuring out which one is Ash's Pikachu. Well, that bright boy's Pikachu.
So yeah, when Go went to the
yeah,
roof,
Ash tells Go to go on without him, and
yep. Then Go finally gets up to the roof and he finally uses his Flygon.
Yes, because he mentioned earlier in the episode that he was going to use Flygon against Zapdos. I'm like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Ground type, it will be immune to Zapdos' attacks, also because it's capable of flying or levitating. It can keep up with it, yeah.
So, as that's happening, he puts up a bit of a fight against Zapdos, throws a ball at it, breaks out instantly. Mm-hmm. Raboot tries to hit it with a double kick during that and misses again.
Yeah, he gets Raboot to jump on Flygon's back, but it just misses and then gets hit by another Thunder or a Thunderbolt or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ash somehow defeated Team Rocket
completely off screen.
Yep.
I thought that was like pretty good because It's not
didn't
what you're
take away
interested-
from
yeah.
the battle.
'Cause you wouldn't be
we
interested
see
in that.
Ash fight Team Rocket every week.
Yeah, so it's
Or most
unnecessary.
weeks. Sometimes Team Rocket isn't in journeys every now
Yeah.
and then, so it's good. I mean, they don't force them into every episode
Yeah.
like they used to.
Once they were off screened,
Ash ends up on the roof
yep,
and gives Go a bit of moral support.
yep, because he was pretty disheartened about not catching it in that first ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I'm trying to catch a Zapdos, I'll go through hundreds. But no, gives him some moral support, and then Raboot looks pretty
Determined.
Yep, and he climbs on Flygon's back again,
Mm-hmm.
and this time he gets close, gets higher,
Mm-hmm.
and
Go tells him to do a double kick, and
his
Rabbit's-
legs turn on fire,
Yep, and it uses a blaze kick.
which was really cool.
Yeah,
And it knocked the Zapdos down. And
I really like that because in the past, as the Score Bunny, it had issues with Ember, you know?
yeah,
And
so
it's
you
nice to
can-
see some growth, like it can use fire attacks now.
You were saying when we were watching it that you were disappointed that it wasn't evolving.
Yeah, like that would have been a really good time for it to evolve. But a new move, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
It's just that we know that it's probably going to evolve into Cinderace soon because of all of the
The promo.
promo art, yeah.
Yeah. But he knocked down the Zapdos at that point, and then threw another ball at it, and it shook 3 times. Everybody thought that it got it. I mean, I didn't because it didn't do the...
Yeah, same.
Then all of a sudden, like a
Huge bolt of lightning, and the ball just explodes.
Yeah, and Go was like super disheartened at that point because it was just over.
Yeah, and he
Started-
thought that he had gotten it.
Yeah. And then, like, Zapdos brings down, like, huge
bolts
thunderbolts.
of thunder. Yeah.
They all avoid it apart from
Pikachu, which takes it head on, and then you would expect it to be injured by it, but
It gets up and it starts being so energetic, jumping around everywhere.
and then a bunch of electric Pokemon show up: Magnemites, Voltorbs,
Electabuzz.
yeah, and Zapdos shares all of its electricity or thunderbolts with all of them.
Yeah. And it makes them all happy as well.
Hmm. And then Ash was explaining to Go what was happening, because earlier in the episode, Go was talking about which came first, the Pokemon or the egg, and it was completely over Ash's head. And
this time it was vice versa.
yeah, but that's because it's not scientific what Ash is talking about.
Yeah.
The Zapdos flies away, and
Yep. And it, like, gives them a look as if it was, like, happy, satisfied with the battle.
yeah,
I think it's very good that he didn't catch it.
yeah, he's not ready for it.
Nah. Because I think that would have been a little bit overpowered for his team. 'Cause
Yeah.
you could just choose your Zapdos every time.
Not to mention he'd be keeping it in like
The lab.
yeah, in the park there, and there'd always be thunderclouds in there.
Sure.
And then they go back to the lab. Koharu's dad, he's thanking them for all the data they got.
And then Ash asked the big important question that Go would he know the answer to? What comes first?
The bath or the delicious meal?
And Go thinks about it for a second. Definitely the delicious meal.
I really liked that episode.
Yeah, it was one
Really
of the best
good.
episodes
Definitely.
of the season.
Yep.
What would you give it out of 10?
9 out of 10. Great episode. You?
I'd probably give it a 9.5, honestly.
Ooh. Yeah, it was really good. I'm really excited going into the 4-part Sword and Shield arc.
Yeah,
That's
should
good.
be interesting.
I'm hoping that we get a 10 out of 10 episode from that.
Yeah, hopefully.
Next week, though, we got the half episode. 1 part Dub Pikachu, 1 part half Marshtomp. Dub Pikachu looks like it's something to do with Team Rocket.
And Meowth looks sick.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we saw the little teaser bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the half Marshtomp's... Well, there's a Marshtomp that's, like,
Stuck
buried in the ground.
dirt.
It's like half of its faces.
I'm thinking that it's going to be... It was muddy and then it just dried like that.
There's also a Ludicolo in there. Maybe, like, it will do some sort of rain dance or something, and then it'll be able
Yeah.
to get out of the dirt. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, next week looks like a fun episode.
Yeah, kind of like the Slowking and Magikarp episode from
That was
a
the
while
best
back.
episode. I wish we had reviewed it, because that would have been a 10.
Yeah, we weren't reviewing episodes at the time. He loved it.
It inspired me to play Magikarp Jump. I love that game right now.
You almost finished it. Anyway, that is our review for this week's episode of Pokemon. What did you think of the episode? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll explain you later.